Yo, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Bo. This is Hood Rich, where we talk all things finances, right? With an emphasis on trying to get you to go from zero to hero. We're going to discuss strategies of what you can do with your money, how to get some money, and how to utilize your money to catapult you and your family into a situation of comfortability, is what I like to call it. I'm tapped into the space. Um, Hood Rich is the name because I'm from the neighborhood. I always tell everybody, all my clients, I'm a professional, but I'm from the neighborhood. So we're going to get the job done and we're going to chop it up like we're supposed to. All right. So we're going to talk. I'm going to try and keep it as authentic as possible, as simple as possible, giving strategies and tools you can use and apply, to some practical situations. All right. So let me make sure I'm looking at the camera right there. But look, first off, you can tell right now from the neighborhood, right? And this ain't the regular typical YouTube. I ain't really savvy with all the technology, but we gonna get into it. We gonna make it happen because my heart is for the people. My heart is for helping, right? And I want to really have these discussions and get people moving in the right direction. This the space, right? That everyone is tapping into, but I don't think the local people who like myself who just going about day to day, working, hustling, grinding, building up a family as we speak, you know what I'm saying, actually come into this space because we personally be too scared to kind of dive in, because we don't know how to use the technology at the level that we see other people using the technology. But bump all that, right? That's why it's hood rich. It makes it even more better, even what I'm saying, precise. It's hood rich. We from the neighborhood. I ain't really hip to all the game with all this stuff, but I got the jewels. I got some jewels I'm gonna drop on you that you might be able to pass on to your kids. You know what I'm saying? Your friends, your family. Some of the uncles gonna be able to use this. The aunties gonna be able to use this. We're gonna tap in. So um, story time, right? I don't need to tell you. You know already. Let me get comfortable, right? Let me get comfortable. We're gonna have these conversations in different spaces, right? I might come to you from the house. I might come to you from outside. If I get time, I might come to you from the office. You know what I'm talking about? Story time. So I come from humble beginnings, from the projects of the Windy City, right? Chicago. And so we grew up eating. And when I tell these stories, it don't got no not a necessary moral to the story. It's just to kind of get you an idea of who I am, where I come from, where I'm striving to go, and I'm just gonna be dropping nuggets and jewels along the way. You gotta pick up what you can pick up and use what you can use. Ask questions, man. Ask questions, right? Um, I'm a father of three. What we want for our kids, for sure, well, I know I do. I assume I speak for a lot of the parents out here, is for them to become critical thinkers, right? And so that's why I say I emphasize ask questions. That's for adults and children alike. All right, so from humble beginnings, Chicago, Illinois, man. Humble beginnings. When we talk about, and everybody, when you say humble beginnings, people that come from humble beginnings, totally understand that. Grew up eating syrup sandwiches, drinking sugar water, no Kool-Aid. We ain't got the Kool-Aid, right? Syrup sandwiches, we ain't got the meat. We got the bread, we got some syrup. We gonna make it happen. The GHETTO, straight up out the ghetto, right? Syrup sandwiches, mayonnaise sandwiches, right? Uh, I remember walking down, always going to the Goodwill to get clothes and household items, household goods. My clothes was always hand me down. I won't say my clothes was hand me down up till I was 16, whether it be hand me down from older siblings or hand me down from the Goodwill. I ain't never had gear or any kind, which probably speaks to the point I still don't really got gear or care nothing about it right now. And we're gonna talk about that too. Now I'm not the one to say don't get gear. You can look good while you're on the budget. That ain't where my mindset at, and I'll tell you more about that in some of the books or whatever I might have read that kind of got me going in the direction of not placing too much emphasis on wardrobe, right? Because it ideally it takes a piece of your mental capacity to always have to focus on what you're wearing, what you dressing like, who you trying to impress with, what you dressing like. You dig me? But at the lower level, um, where I am at was at, you know what I'm talking about. I ain't really have time to be focusing my mental energy towards dressing to impress, right? I need to free that space up and worry about other things. Now, some of us can multitask, and you go ahead and dress up if you need to dress up and do your thing. I had a spell where I always would, like, after obviously I was broke as a joke, you know, up to about 16, which I was still broke as a joke. But then I started working and getting some money on my own. And we do the same thing every time. When you don't have, you finally get some money, you spend on a lot of the things you wish you could have had, right? And so, um, I digress. I go back. So, humble beginnings. I caught a bus everywhere or walked. Me and the siblings, we walked to school all the time, miles, right? Snuck on buses because we can't afford to catch a bus, city bus, right? We catching buses everywhere, sneaking in the back door. Humble beginnings all the way down, right? I won't dive into my childhood history per se, but I had the typical parents from the ghetto, right? Now I love them to death. And when I say typical, I don't mean to downplay my parents by any means or any stretch of the imagination. When I say typical, I mean I got the same neighborhood story as a lot of the other boys and girls, where some of our parents dealt with many different ailments, right? And with the knowledge, that the ailments was brought into the community. So with those ailments, we found ourselves without food in the refrigerator plenty of times. Sometimes it was there one day and gone the next. You feel me? And that's all right. Humble beginnings all day long. I remember having one relative digging out the trash and bringing donuts and McDonald's from McDonald's trash can or Dunkin' Donuts trash can, and that's when I found my favorite donut, the old fashioned donut, the crinkle thing with the glaze on top. I probably had a chocolate one or whatnot, but that's where I got my favorite donut from. Reminds me to this day of humble beginnings, right? Not a clean wardrobe, shoes busted all the time, right? Going to school like that. And so it's funny nowadays when we hear a lot of bullying and things like that, and how kids react to it. People of my generation, we always say we didn't have that. We didn't have bullying to the point of I'm gonna go, you know what I'm saying, cross somebody a river. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You chalk it up to the game. It's humble beginnings, right? Um, I'm trying to dive in toys. Christmas was scarce. I remember, sure, one Christmas, and we had to obviously get toys and stuff from Salvation Armies and different places that give toys out, right? And one day I got a glow in the dark watch. I remember my brother and them had like a remote control car, train track set. Even though they humble beginnings too, because the gift was given from somewhere else. My mom and they didn't come giving to us at that time, um, or not all the time. Sometimes they would try and do what they do, make ends meet, and give us what we can get. But I remember having to go into the bathroom and push a button on my watch. You know what I'm talking about, and make that thing light up. Humble beginnings. I don't remember too many books in the house, right? Um, and I thought the school systems was a little scary. Obviously, we came up back in the day when computers wasn't around. You can even count that as humble beginnings. But all the things was humble beginnings. And if you grew up in humble beginnings, comment down here below on some of the things you had to endure, right, or go through, or make something out of nothing, like sugar water. We made Kool-Aid, right? Without the Kool-Aid, it's water and the sugar. Because all you do is add that flavor, that little color. It's the same drink, low keto, right? Or them bologna sandwiches, right, all day long, or syrup sandwiches all day long, or you know what I'm saying? Talk to me, comment. I won't give you all the humble beginning recipes, right? Syrup sandwiches and sugar water is a staple all day long. You know what I'm saying? I double down on you, give you one more. Jelly with the hot dog. Must sleep on jelly with the hot dog. Well, we ain't had ketchup, but you want some kind of whoop with the hot dog, you put that jelly on that thing. Jelly and hot dog. That's all goes back to humble beginnings. You already know about the government cheese. Come on now. Big giant tubs of peanut butter. We can go down the line. I give you all the way, right? So humble beginnings all day long. That's where I come from. Where I'm at now in life is an appreciation for humble beginnings. You know what I'm talking about? Would I drink sugar water? Nah, I don't need to drink sugar water no more like that. I mean, do I know the Kool-Aid that we make now is the same as sugar water? Heck yeah. But I like the color. You know what I'm talking about? So now as you come from humble beginnings, you begin to like certain things while still being able to appreciate where you came from. So um, on this channel, I want to have a fluid conversation, a fluid discussion. Sometimes I understand it's going to be a monologue with me just talking. Comment, ask questions. We're going to discuss money. We're going to discuss how to build some money up in your bank account, how to go from zero, because you ain't got much money, to hero, where you at least get you 150 bucks, where you maybe get you $1,000, where you maybe get yourself to 3,000 bucks. You know what I'm talking about? And we're gonna talk all things hood rich. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things that hold us back from having money. Some of the things that um, cause us to spend certain ways. We're gonna talk budgeting. We're gonna talk saving. We're gonna talk credit later as we get down the line. Credit is down the line as it stands. We humble beginnings. Let's have that conversation. Comment in the chat about what it looks like for you, and you can just drop a sentence or a couple words or a phrase like sugar water. You know what I'm saying? If you ever had sugar water, drop it in the comments below. um let's talk humble beginnings. If you understand that, subscribe, right? And then we're gonna move forward as we progress, because there's so many topics to cover when we talk about finances, because it's a mind state too, right? It's the way you think on how to gain wealth. And when I talk about myself, where I'm at now, just to give you a clear picture, I'm working, right? I'm driving, right? You know what I'm talking about? I'm working, driving. I got food in the fridge. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not a millionaire. You feel me? I'm not, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm not on that level, which makes perfect sense for us to talk on this level, because we can low key grow together, right? We can grow together. I'm going to drop some mad jewels on you about saving, about how even when I shifted my mindset to have a little more money. I'm gonna talk some drop jewels on you on how to get out of being paycheck to paycheck. There's some crazy statistics out there when they talk about people like what is it, 60% of America? I don't know the numbers. Don't quote me on this, but like 60% of the Americans don't have $1,000 saved up in their bank account. We're gonna talk about how to get you to a first $1,000. You know what I'm talking about? It's doable. It's really I speak from experience. It's doable. Humble beginnings, man. I used to. I will. We gonna get into it when I had my first kid. You know what I'm saying? I had it way back in the day. I moved out at a young age, and then realized these bills is crazy. Cable will run you out your house, and then moved back in with my OG them, mom and dad them. You know what I'm saying, to get a better grounding, right? You know what I'm talking about. And so let's wrap this vehicle up right here today with, you know, giving a shout out and thanks to coming from humble beginnings, the ghetto, you know what I'm saying, where mothers, I know I saw all ambulance and not many police in my neighborhood. Let's give a shout out to humble beginnings and a little appreciation to that. Let's just take that moment of silence for humble beginnings, you know what I'm talking about, and giving a little thanks to still be here and still be thriving and grinding. Subscribe. Hood Rich is where we about to go.